we want to be a very democratic brand, and we want to be a big brand. And why we want to do this? Because in this way we can have an impact and influence the industry and the society. And here we're talking always about the Patagonia as a reference. We don't want to do a niche brand that looks super nice but stays small. No, we want to build one of the top 5 outdoor brands.
Is NNormal the next unicorn outdoor brand? Combining the awareness, reputation and sheer determination of the GOAT trail runner Kylian Jornet with Camper, a footwear brand with more than 300 years experience in footwear design and production, they've certainly made a great start with impressive visibility at both the Western States and UTMB this year. So in this episode of Sports and Outdoor Mentors, I discuss all of this and more with the CEO of NNormal, Sito Salas. So if you want to know how they plan to build a top 5 outdoor brand, keep listening. So Sito, you've spent now more than 20 years working with Camper, a 50-year-old family-owned business that has 150 years experience in footwear point of view. And then 3 years ago, Camper obviously co-founded NNormal with Kylian Jornet, obviously the iconic trail runner. I'm interested, we're going to come back a little bit to your time at Camper, but I'm interested to understand those first 12 months of launching NNormal and working with Kylian. What was maybe the biggest surprise that you had in those first 12 months?
Well, for me, the first surprise was when we met Kylian, and we discovered the Kylian the person. Huh? So, well, as you know, I'm a trail runner, a passionate amateur, no? So obviously you see Kylian like the GOAT of the sport, somebody very inspirational, no? So then when you meet him, obviously, you think, this guy is the one of the best athletes in the outdoors, no? So for sure, he's very talented, no? But then you start talking to him, and Kylian is very intellectual. So they were like, wow, huh? And so that he has a really deep knowledge of all the topics he's involved. So obviously sports, but also is a kind of a science. Because he studied the sports science and he's collaborating with a lot of PhD papers, and the guy is publishing. So I said, okay, this sounds a bit strange, no? And then the guy start talking about sustainability, and he has a deep knowledge of the real problems about climate change and the CO2 and the greenwashing. So I said, okay, the guy knows what he's talking about, no? Then he was also talking about business, like kind of an entrepreneur. So for me, this was to know Kylian the person, no? And you talk to him was like talking to an intellectual or talking to a CO2 of a company, and also it's still quite young. He's 37, no? So for me and for the Camper family, no, it was like a big surprise, because you say, with somebody that has obviously his own brand awareness as an athlete, an ambassador, but at the same time is so knowledgeable about the topic that he's interested, obviously, no? And also was super humble, no? So for us was like, wow, this is a strange combination, no? Of the part that obviously all of us know and we value, and the part that is not so obvious, no? Yeah. And this for a partnership, no, was super interesting. Okay. Because if you find this athlete, okay, maybe the idea is let's do an amazing contract for you because you're going to add value. But in this case was quite different. Is we found the person that could be our partner and that we would like to work with him for a long term. No? Yeah. Okay. So for me, at least personally, this was the biggest surprise. Yeah. No?
Yeah.
And instead of talking about races and what did you win, we're talking about what's the mission of a company and what is giving back to society. So it was like, oof, what's going on here? No,
Yeah.
so this was for me the biggest surprise at the beginning.
Okay.
And then after that, yeah, we have some stories that we can talk
I'm sure.
about how to when we launched the brand and
Yeah.
the challenges and also positive things that
Yeah.
have been happening.
Okay, so that's interesting. So then Kylian as the person, let's say, was a surprise, or let's say somehow unexpected. But then what about the fact that, so, you know, you'd worked almost 20 years at that point with Camper, a brand that even when you joined it was already an established brand, 30 years old. So going from working in several different leadership positions in Camper, as you did, to now essentially launching a startup, albeit obviously with plenty with benefits of Camper, but from that point of view, what were those kind of early challenges, early difficulties, and maybe not from a business point of view, but also from a personal point of view?
I know. Yeah, no, it's clear. It's a good question. It's a good question. Huh? So, well, for me there was two challenges. One for myself, because it's not the same to be an executive in established brand, as you said, and I had experience with technology, with supply chain, with commercial, and my last position in Camper was a deputy CEO, so supporting Miguel, that is the fourth generation of the company. From this to be a CEO of a new brand, so it's been a big challenge. Even after this, 25 years of experience in Camper, and before I used to work as a consultant. So I think I had a good experience, a good education, but it was something completely new. So it was like a personal challenge that I have to think a lot, to read a lot of books, because it's another job, has nothing to do, no? So this is the first one. And then the second one has been to set up the team and the culture. Wow, you cannot imagine how difficult it has been, because you are in Camper. Camper is 30 years. There is a culture. There is a clear strategy. And people, when they join Camper, they have to adapt, no? But they have to learn something that exists, no? So when you build a new brand, and we are lucky to have a very passionate team, because everybody that joined the brand joined for the project.
Sure.
It was not for the position or the paycheck. It was for they say, well, Kylian and Camper, they're launching this brand. This is a nice opportunity to grow. But this came with big problems, because everybody was coming to the brand with the idea of how he would like the brand to be.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
So and we started maybe 10 people, and each of them was pushing in one different direction, in the strategy and in the culture.
Okay.
So this has been for me the biggest challenge, is to set up the team. Then obviously not everybody we hired has work, and maybe it's because of them or because of us. So
Sure.
so yeah, I'm very realistic about this.
Of course.
But this create a lot of tensions, because a lot of people that came with a lot of energy, good professionals, and some of them could not adapt, and we had to let them go after a few years. And even the ones that we have adapted, I think now we have a very aligned team, have struggled, starting with me and the other directors, no? Had a struggle, and then we had a moment that, okay, how is this work? And then some people we were able to connect, and we are in this process of building the culture and at the same time the strategy. And to align the culture, strategy, and the team, for me this has been a bigger challenge, but also a bigger learning. So it's as always. Huh?
And I'm interested because, as you said, you know, Camper was there and had its own culture. So, and also you've got Kylian as well. So, how much is the let's say, the culture of Normal today? Where does the influence come from? Camper, come from Kylian, come from you? I guess it's probably a mixture, but how did you get to where you are?
Yeah, this has been the real challenge because we had some part of the team is coming from Camper, and one of the founders, the Camper family, has the cartel. Myself and some other people, which are in the management team, are coming from Camper. So these people obviously come very aligned in the way of working. No? Then also we have a part of the team that is Kylian's team. So for instance, the marketing director, he's Jordi, and he's also in the board with the two founders, myself. And he has been working with him like 15 years. And also they brought to the team some managers and they had their culture, which was like even a smaller company, kind of a sports marketing agency, no? And then the other third of the team are professionals that are coming from the industry, from big brands, and I would say one of each big brand.
Yeah.
So when you put all this together, so we have to build, or we're trying to build a new culture that's trying to get the best of each.
Yeah.
And this is the positive side.
Yeah.
But then sometimes there are clashes.
Yeah.
For instance, there is one example that we discuss a lot, that, for instance, in Camper, we believe a lot in working in the office.
Working in the office. Yeah.
And because we do product, we like to go every morning to see the prototypes.
Yeah.
And also, at least our experience is that when people work together, the magic happens, no?
Yeah.
But then, Kylian's team, and they are working in 100% remote.
Yeah.
And they are also very proud, and it's working for them. And because also has some advantages, because you can have like maybe the best people in the world working together in a digital way, no? Yeah. So we have a kind of mixed culture. No? Yeah. So this, I think, is positive because if you can be together to build the product, I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
But also to be able to have somebody working in Norway, for instance, Kylian is part of the team, or people working in the Alps, I have 2 or 3 people, or in the Alps, or in Pyrenees, is also good, no? But then it's not easy because you have the same two ways of working together, no? Yeah. So for me, this is one example, no? But this could happen with everything.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. Okay, great. Well, look, we'll come back much more to Normal later. But you mentioned there already that you started out as a consultant, and I think you studied telecom and engineering, and then you went into consultancy, and then you joined Campus. So tell me about the journey, because that's not an obvious path, right? Well, not to me anyway. But.
No, I think it's life. No, so I studied in engineering because in school I like more the scientific part.
Yeah.
So and I was kind of good with math and physics, and at that moment, telecom engineering or electrical engineering, as you call it in England, it was kind of a good career. No? Then I think it's a good education, engineering. But it was very general, and very theoretical. At least in Spain, and I was studying in a good university, the Polytechnic of Barcelona. And I think we got a really good education, but for me, very theoretical. No?
Okay.
But then it's good things because you're exposed to to programming, to internet, to mobiles. To antennas, no? Maxwell equation. So a lot of things that I never used in my life, no. But you have 5 years, strong years of a very formal education, no. And then when I finished my degree, I realized, but I don't want to work on these so theoretical and technical things, no. And I started looking different jobs, and I discovered the consulting, so business consulting. I started working at Arthur Andersen, which was one of the big 5 at the moment. And this business consulting was interesting for me because you were mixing some technology. So we were doing, the first websites or implementations of SAP or business process reengineering. So engineer could do a good job, because it's about the structuring information, no? But at the same time, you were doing it for a business, no? And well, there I got the interest of business, no? And then when I was around 30, yeah, with my wife, we decided to move to Mallorca. And yeah, in my case, I found this job in Camper. That yeah was Camper was one of our customers because
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, obviously, I mean, and was also a very nice brand
Yeah.
because for me I realized that I like more the brands that have product than the brands that do services.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So it felt more real, no?
Yes.
And Camper, yeah, it was an international brand, was from Mallorca, and they were investing a lot in technology and business at the moment. So
Yeah.
I started there as head of organization.
Yeah.
So yeah, my job was to set up processes, business processes, and technology, no? So well, I think yeah, it's not obvious the path, no, but personally it makes sense
Sure.
because I was going back home to an international company. So in Mallorca, maybe we have 3 or 4
Yeah.
of these
Okay.
kind of companies,
Yeah.
no? And then I think yeah, I found yeah my home. So yeah, I'm not part of the of the Camper family, but I feel like.
Yeah.
And then I was lucky that during these 20 something years, every 3 or 4 years, I could move from one department to the other. So I started technology, then supply chain, and commercial, and finally more yeah, like assistant to a CEO, was
Yeah.
more a bit more strategy. And so yeah, even if it's a long journey, I was learning.
And it's interesting you say that because I noticed that also throughout your career, you've also obviously done additional studies as well.
Yeah.
You've attended a lot of, very, high quality business schools over the years. So that
I've
kind
been
of
very lucky
personal
to have
development-
this education, so I'm very grateful.
Yeah.
And it's something I recommend to everybody in the industry.
So that's obviously been that personal development then has been really important for you.
Yeah. Well, I think this has been key in my career. So yeah, first you have to have the interest of learning and evolving. No. So yeah, I did like 3 interesting programs. One in ESA, other in MIT, and the last one in Harvard. No.
Yeah.
And every 10 years, I done one of these programs, no, which are executive educations, that help me to transform and evolve professionally.
Yes.
And without them, it would have been impossible.
Yeah.
Because then in these programs, it's not that you learn how to do a P&L, it's that you learn how to manage a team or how to set up culture or how to set up a strategy, no? And yeah, at different moments in the career, they help you a lot. There are things that you don't learn in the university, and in business there is no time to learn. So
yeah, for sure. And is that something that was sponsored by the Camper family? Okay, so you had that support throughout. That's great.
Yeah. The Camper was investing in us because this is part of the culture of this family business. Is we are trying to usually people start young in Camper. Young means like around 30, and then they grow.
Yeah.
And they get the culture, but then the company invest back in the people that has the potential and want, because you have to, at the end, it's an effort, no? And at the end, it's a win-win because you add more value to the company, but you learn a lot.
I'm sure. And as well as that more, let's say, formal education, have you, over the years, have you worked with a mentor or a coach, somebody that's maybe been either inside the business or outside of the business, that's been somebody that supported you?
Yeah, this been key. Yeah, I think I've been lucky throughout my career to usually has been my boss, the mentor, but I've been lucky in consulting. My boss was somebody that was helping me when I was younger to understand the business.
Yeah.
Then when I joined Camper, the GM, I worked like 10 or 15 years with him. His name was Stanislao. He passed away a few years ago. And the guy helped me a lot. And then the last years with Miguel, which is the CEO of Camper, and his father, which is the founder.
Okay.
So they have this entrepreneurship mentality and know-how. So and all of them have been generous enough to share this. And when you have these people, next to you, you learn a lot. So I think alone is impossible to grow.
It sounds, obviously you're talking about all the positive things, so I guess it's normal that it sounds like an amazing place to work. You said that you were already, Camper were already a customer for you as a consultant. So did you already have in mind that, okay, this is a good company, I would like to work there, or was it more the other way? How?
It was more me.
Okay.
Yeah, because when I was thinking what type of company, maybe I remember I had a list of 10 companies. Because we had this idea with my wife, we just got married. I said we have to set up a family, and I said I feel more comfortable in Mallorca, living in a small village next to the mountains and the sea, than not in a big city like Barcelona. And we kind of agree with my wife. Well, obviously it's not easy because it's the two of us that. And then in this list for me, camper was number one, and then obviously you try to, but it was more camper as a business.
Okay.
Because then what I explained to you, I discovered later. I didn't know.
Okay.
So there is a bit of luck here to find the right family business and the right mentors, because this is not something that. I think I've been lucky in this. And then, as you said, not everything is easy.
So of course, everywhere.
Yeah, because for instance, for me, I remember camper something negative was that I was used to work with bigger companies.
Okay.
With bigger resources.
Yeah.
So I remember we're doing SAP implementations. There are millions of euros to implement. And when I joined Camper, I said, you have to do it with 10 times less money.
Yeah.
And I said, no, it's impossible. Because I've been 6 years doing this project. I know it takes this time. And I said, but we don't have the resources. We are not Apple.
Yeah.
Or we are not a big bank. So for me, this was super tough because I was next to leaving, because I said, they are asking me the impossible. I'm going to fail. So Camper is a mid-sized business, and I was used to work with bigger brands. So for me, it was challenging, and this is happening to a lot of people that join Camper coming from bigger companies. That they are used to do a project with, 7 figures, and there it's 6 figures or 5.
Yeah.
And you have 10 people helping you, and there you're alone.
Yeah.
Well, so this is a big challenge.
So how did you adapt to that? Because I think that's really interesting, because I think that happens, obviously, in my role as a headhunter. I see that quite a lot, where you have people coming from bigger brands going into smaller, taking a more senior role, but finding an environment that is very different. So
I have some friends now that we hired that work in Camper or in NNormal, and coming from Nike and Adidas, which are the biggest brands in the industry, and they're very passionate about working with Camper or NNormal, because they think here we can make a bigger impact, no? But then they come with this backpack that I think they are really good in processes and go to market, but they can only do it with big budgets, and usually even with big agencies behind. No? So when they join Camper or NNormal, even smaller, imagine, is a big challenge, and that is a big clash at some moment. And I had it, so
but how did you overcome that then?
But
because you've overcome it twice, actually. You could say.
And I tell them, you tell me it's not possible. I tell you it's possible, but I tell you that you don't know how to do it. Without the resources. So you have to do a big effort to adapt. And usually the fight is they tell you, no, Camper has to adapt. I said, no, this is not going to happen. We have the resources we have. So it's you that have to adapt. And I had this with 3 or 4 people working with me. And what happens is not everybody can make it. And some people cannot adapt. And then the ones that adapt, they suffer a lot. Myself, it took me 3 years to find a solution for the problem I was explaining before.
Okay.
So not everybody has the patience to be 3 years struggling in a position. So it's like you have to relearn to do your job in another way. Imagine for you is a bit the same, no? Being in big companies and now managing something similar, no?
But it's really then it's a mindset shift Easy for me
Yeah,
to
but
say.
you have to accept that there is a different way to do it,
Yeah.
which is maybe 10 times with less resources.
Yes.
But for your mind, it's really difficult
Yeah.
because you've been, whatever, 10 years in one of these big companies.
Yeah.
And you learn to do things in one way. And now you have to unlearn and learn the new way. So, but then the people that adapt, they're super happy
Yeah.
because then they feel more empowered. And it's true that at the end they can have a bigger impact. But it's not an easy journey.
Yeah. No, for sure. I can imagine. So I think talking about the culture that we did, a lot of this probably also comes back to values of the brand, the business. And I know that whenever you speak about the brand, you always talk a lot about the values. So where did those values come from, and then maybe share a little bit about the values and what they really mean?
Yeah. This was one of the most important discussions with Kylian. So we set up a new company. So there is two things: what's the purpose of this company, and what are the values of this company? No. So the purpose, we call it the mission, but is to inspire people to enjoy and respect nature. Huh? And this is very general, but has a lot of connotations behind, no? Because it means you have to bring people to nature, you have to do things right,
Yeah.
You have to respect, no? And also we want to be a very democratic brand, and we want to be a big brand, no? So behind this sentence, there is some important agreements between the partners, because we don't want to do a niche brand that looks super nice but stays small. No, we want to have an impact. No, so the discussion behind this, we want to build with time. Maybe it takes 50 years, but we want to build one of the top 5 outdoor brands.
Yeah. Great.
Wow. So we have this big ambition.
Yeah.
And why we want to do this? Because in this way we can have an impact and influence the industry and the society. And here we're talking always about Patagonia as a reference, to say, what type of brand has done something positive, creating a sustainable business. So we say, what Patagonia did and Chunard, for us it was amazing. No? So this is a bit the mission of the company.
Yeah.
And this is a big discussion, because this means that you are not setting up a brand to go fast and sell it in 3 years.
Yeah.
This also means that you have this aspiration to be big. Then maybe we ship it or not, but you're setting up the company for this.
Yeah.
And then, so this was the mission, no? Then the values, no? So we have 4. Well, the values we have 4, and they come, I would say, from Camper and from Kylian.
Okay.
And this was an agreement, no? Some of them were already there because both of the two partners have it, and others were new for the brand, no? So, for instance, the first one is authenticity, no?
Yeah.
That for us means we want to do things which are real, no?
Yeah.
And this is obviously represented by Kylian, because he has this real know-how about the outdoors, the mountains, the product. So everything he does is he experienced himself, and it's real. And we do a product, and he tests it, and he does this alpine connection. So it's not fake, no? Then the other part is the Camper. You have this shoe business know-how. So 150 years doing shoes. So obviously, we know how to do a shoe. So we know how to do a last, how to do midsole. And then the third part is coming from the team, that we are hiring people that is very passionate about outdoors.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of a requirement. No?
Yes.
Maybe if the brand is bigger, at some moment you can have, but I would say that now we are around 20, 25 people.
Yeah.
And all of us are trail runners.
Okay.
Different levels. One is Kylian, and then you have somebody.
Well, for sure, different levels.
No, but all the employees are trail runners. All of us test the product, go to races. So this helps to build this. Then the second value is NNormal.
Yeah.
That here, well, we can talk a bit about the name of the brand because I
Sure.
think also hides some interesting discussions. So NNormal is this idea of trying to do things different and to add something positive. We said, no, we don't want to do like the other brands. We want to do it in our way, and we want to challenge how the business is working. And yeah, here we're discussing, I don't know, about the product. So we try to have less products that are more versatile, and to take out a bit this pressure of every 6 months to have to change all the collection, to have big collection, because the market works this way, and we know it. And it's not that, and maybe we're a bit naive, but we said, we have to try something different.
Yeah.
So we do this in product, we do this in marketing, also trying to have an image that is not the typical of Kylian running in the mountains. So if you, I don't know if you check it, so our art director, he's coming from Montclair.
Yeah.
His name is Regis, and he's trying to do an image which is contemporary, modern. Sometimes it's not so obvious because Kylian says, now I am appearing here like distorted and fly, but it's positive, no? And then the third value is use, how do you say it? To be useful, and this is talking about product.
Yeah.
So we only want to do products that are useful or versatile, and only, for instance, now we have two franchise lines, and we have idea to have a third one for shoes, and then we stop.
Yeah.
And then we improve them, every 2 or 3 years once we have a big improvement. So with that, we try to take out a bit this pressure of everything, which is not easy because the industry was like this, better than me, and in camper is the same, and in the big outdoor brands, you have this pressure because you have to sell.
Yeah.
So here, this is the usability. And the last one is the commitment. And this commitment is double, is with society and with environment. With society, the idea is this, let's try to build a big company that can give good jobs to people, and that people that work with us, can make a living in a positive way. So try to create high quality jobs, no? And the other one is with the environment. And here we channel it basically through the 1% of the planet.
Yeah.
That 1% of the sales are going to the Kylian Jornet Foundation.
Yeah.
And this one was one of his main motivations to build the brand, which is, let's try to build a brand.
Yeah.
If we know how to do it, we get a bit bigger, we get resources. And then one part of, because now when you're a small brand, 1% is nothing, but when you're a big one, and this is kind of signed in the partners agreement.
Yeah.
So this could be relevant, and then his foundation could have resources to have an impact, no?
Yeah.
So so for these 4 values, try to set up everything we do. For instance, I was thinking that, for instance, in product, now our main value for sustainability is durability.
Yeah.
And we had big discussions because, nowadays you can talk about CO2. You can talk about recycled material.
Yeah.
You can talk about this resale. No?
Yeah.
And we say, no, for us it's different. For us is, first is durability. So if our shoes could double that the rest on the industry, which is a bit ambitious, the thing, is the best way. And as a trail runner, we use maybe 6 or 7 shoes a year. So we said, can we use 2 instead of 5 or 6? And we said, if we achieve it, while doing business, we are adding something to the industry, and then everybody else will have to increase the quality because. And as a brand, we talk a lot about durability. We measure, and we've published 2 durability studies. And one show the average was 1,000 kilometers, the other is 150. And this puts a lot of pressure on us because obviously not all of them last 1,000 kilometers.
Sure,
it depends on who is the user. The
For me, probably it won't last so long.
But it's a good pressure, and then also make us use the best materials. Then we have to, if there is a problem, we have this lifetime guarantee for the small repairs, no? So it's durability, and then repair. Then we did this reselling program. So the idea is you have a durable product and you try to extend the life as much as possible. And then at the end, which is the most difficult one, is we're trying to recycle them. And this is something we are still working on. But we are already working with the idea with a partner in Europe that grinds the shoes,
Okay.
separates in small pieces the textiles from the midsole from the
Yeah.
rubber.
Yeah.
And then with these three kind of raw materials, we are doing nowadays like kind of furniture that we
Okay.
use for take back boats or in a showroom, no? And this third one is quite tricky because now we are doing it, but I have doubts if it's scalable.
Yeah.
Because now we can do it because we're a small company.
Yeah.
But in a scalable way, obviously it doesn't make any sense because you have to collect the shoes from around Europe, send to one partner.
Sure.
This has a cost also. So we are discussing with these partners to see how this evolves. But at least we are trying and we are pushing the discussion. So.
Yeah.
And it's a big topic for us, this one.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure.
we're not going to solve it.
Yeah.
But at least we are putting pressure on ourselves, and I understand at the same time on the industry to try to make better quality products, more durable.
Yeah, which is super important for sure. It's interesting. I'm trying to imagine the boardroom when you were discussing topics like, okay, so you've said that you have big ambitions for the brands, but also, when you talk about collection, about 3 models and
how you do this,
1% for the planet. I'm just trying to imagine the discussion because I guess some of those things are, for Kylian, it's probably very obvious, understanding a little bit.
And it's the most
Kylian.
important.
But also for the family, I guess it's probably maybe the complete opposite to what they've been used to. Not?
No, because for instance, in camper, we also have the same values.
Okay.
So quality, for instance, in camper, we are giving some lines, they have a lifetime warranty.
Okay.
And camper was born as the family started doing shoes as a shoe manufacturer of high quality shoes.
Yeah.
So this
so
was very easy.
This
was very easy, this discussion, because in camper we believe in quality and we try to do the best quality shoes.
Yeah.
And in normal is the same. So in this case, and these initiatives I'm talking about, in camper we had the same.
Okay.
So it's the same processes, the same factories behind, the same supply chain. So this is what I was telling you, that we were quite aligned with values.
Yeah.
Because maybe Kylian had more these problems with working with bigger brands.
Yes.
Because he has these big tensions.
Sure.
But with a family business, a smaller brand like Camper, that these kind values were shared is easier.
Yeah.
Then maybe the pressure is more to make the brand profitable.
Yeah.
Because this is a need that
of course,
the two founders and myself as CEO, if we don't make a brand profitable, will not last. So,
yeah, exactly, and you won't have the positive impact.
So the pressure, I would say, is more for myself and for my team. Yeah, because you have the pressure of growing, because you need to scale, but at the same time you have to use the best materials and you have to spend money in this recycling or repairs, instead of spending with a new athlete or with a big campaign here at UTMB.
Yeah.
So this puts a lot of pressure to the team. Also, you have to have a small team, so you have less resources. So what is more difficult, I would say, is the day-to-day discussions. In the board, the partners is very very aligned, and also for myself and Jordi, which are also the board, and at the same time in the executive team, we also agree. So the discussion is quite easy.
Okay.
The implementation is super tough. It's like because when you have to decide what material do we put and what margin do we work with, and then where you assign the resources, you start putting the money, and
Sure.
then there is nothing.
Yeah.
So this, I would say, is more in the implementation than not the discussion at the board level.
Okay. That's.
I don't know if it makes sense for you.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's good to hear, because I think then with that alignment, It you can have the confidence that what you're doing and the direction you're going is really where everybody wants to go.
Yeah, but then what is difficult is to get the results.
Yes.
Because this is very at the end very theoretical.
Of course,
in a business plan, everything makes sense.
Yeah.
And then when we have to come to UTMB, we have to push the brand awareness, the brand sales. You have less resources, no?
Yeah.
So you have to ask additional effort to the team, and also be more creative. So this puts this pressure, but it's also the fun part of the business, no?
Yeah, it's the good pressure.
No, and I think we have an advantage about this pressure, which is that we have this. So this company is a family business at the end, no? Or in this case, two partners, no? So they have patience. So we have the advantage of long-term vision. So it was another setup. I know, maybe more with a financial partner that is putting the money to recover in 3-5 years. This will not work.
Yeah.
Because the only thing we cannot do is be fast.
Yes.
Because you want to do things right, it takes time.
Yeah, for sure.
And nothing works at first.
Yeah.
So if we had the time pressure or the returns of investment pressure, I think this would not be possible. So, and I've been talking with other CEOs of big brands, and they said, "Yeah, you're super lucky. I never had this the possibility because also they agree with these things, but they said, hey, it was impossible.
Yeah.
Because I had to deliver in 2 years. If not, I am out.
Yeah.
So what you do, no? So in this case, we have the disadvantage of having this long-term vision and also patience from the founders, because at the end they are putting their money in this adventure.
But despite all those challenges and the difficulty in the execution, at least from my eyes, the brand does start to gain momentum. I mean, when you look at Western States, and it's a shoe count of a high end, very difficult race, but number 10 brand, which and the brand's 3 years now.
Yeah,
3 years. I mean, there are brands that have been around for more than 20 times that amount of time that were lower down the ranking. So that must make you feel that we're on the right track. But what do you put that down to? How do you think you've been able to have a positive impact, at least from that perspective, within the core community so quickly?
So first, this KPI you're talking is our main KPI.
Okay.
Which is so our main KPI for brand awareness is not visits or clicks or followers. So our main KPI is the percentage of runners in the key races.
Okay, interesting.
Why? Because we said, how are we measuring if the brand and the product is working? So this product market fit that is so famous in these big universities you said before. You have to find a way to see if it's happening or not. And we said, we have this objective to achieve 5% of market share in these races. Yeah. And in these 3 years, we are there. Yeah. Then you have depends. In Spain, maybe some races we have more than 5, and others like Western is lower, is maybe 2 or 3%. No? Yeah. But this 5% that we are almost there, I would say, at least in the markets we have been working. Yeah. Is the real validator that the brand and the product is working. Yeah. And why? And it's not a real market share, so we don't have obviously 5%. Sure. Yeah. But we have 5% of the core consumer. Yeah. And our core consumer is trail runners. And trail runners, they use the shoe in UTMB if it works for them, not because Kylian is using it. So we said, this is the way we have to measure if this is happening or not. No? Yeah. So I think now we are there. Yeah, we are there. So for us, and it was the plan. So it's okay. Yeah. For us, this is a success because we have our core consumer, obviously a percentage of this because you have much bigger brands with much bigger percentages, but 5% is quite relevant.
Yeah,
because
for
as
sure.
you know, it's very competitive. This trail running industry nowadays.
Yeah,
Maybe 10 years ago you had 2 brands, and now there is 40.
yeah, yeah,
So this is how, the how we think that is having some traction, no?
yeah,
Then obviously we are a small brand. Maybe we are the smaller one of these of these 40 brands, huh? Because you have the big guys here, no?
yeah,
And then why, no? I think is I think I think the main part is because the products are working. So we have 2 products now. One is for more fast runners, the other is more for more people. And I think we have been able to do 2 good level shoes that maybe are in line with the competitors. And then having these brand values on top of products that are working, this is making attractive the brand and the product to some of these trail runners.
yeah,
Then this brand awareness is very limited to trail runners.
yes,
Because when you set up a company, you cannot go for everything.
yeah,
So we said, we have to focus on trail running, on the core runners, and then if we make it, then maybe more people will know about the brand.
yeah,
So the brand awareness is there, but I would say it's very limited in a very niche consumer.
yeah,
But I think it's a good start
for sure. In 3 years, I'd say it's a very good start. But I'm just, you really shocked me in a positive way with regards to the number 5, outdoor brand target. So I'm thinking, okay,
Do you think it's too ambitious?
no, I think it's great. I think it's great, and I think the industry needs new, young, fresh brands to shake it up and to keep the industry momentum and innovation. So I think it's great. But I think about where you are today and the 3 shoes and focus on trail. I mean, that alone is not going to get you to be the 5th brand in outdoor, because you use the word outdoor as well. So how do you see that evolving? Is it obviously today you're very strong in Spain, in France, then you're starting to gain more traction in the US, I think in Asia as well now. So obviously there's geographical expansion, that's clear, but again, even that's not gonna make the difference in the long term. So how do you see that without giving away too many company secrets?
Because these are plans that I think
Of course.
all the brands are going to the same. So these are the biggest discussions at the board level.
Yeah.
So more than the value is how we scale the brand.
Yeah.
Because obviously the potential is there. Having Kylian and having this small success, because we are still small and we are very realistic. But I think we did the first step of a long staircase. Huh?
Yeah.
But the first one we did.
Yeah.
Because if not, it will be obvious that for whatever reason, or the brand didn't work, or the product didn't work. So the big discussion at board level is how you scale the brand, keeping the values, and then there is different opinions. I can tell you mine, no? Because
Of course.
mine is that we have to keep focusing on trail running for a few years.
Yeah.
And maybe the success we are small success we're having in these key markets, to extend it to 10 or 15 key markets around the world.
Yeah.
Because I think we have to consolidate the brand and the business in trail running. Because now if we go to another category or another, I think we will be small here and small another way, and also this will we will make mistakes. No? So if we keep doing this focus strategy with 2 or 3 shoes with trail running core consumer, I think we can get to a size of business that will give us enough resources to go for a next category.
Yeah.
And then the vision of the company is going to the mountain, and not going to the roads, or to the fashion.
Yeah.
So the idea of the mission of the company, which is about outdoors, is to stay true to this mission and try to always be an outdoor brand.
Yes.
And then, obviously we have to stand geographically. You have to stand categories. So, besides footwear, we also do apparel.
Yeah.
And this has been very important decision since the beginning, because now 30% of our sales are apparel and accessories.
Okay.
So we are like a head-to-toe brand. So we're not only a shoe brand.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's a good ratio as well.
Yeah.
It's and maybe it's like you said, it's good to start it at pretty much the same time, because I think,
if not, I think it's impossible.
Yeah, once you're very strong in one, it's very difficult to go the other way, as I've personally experienced.
You experienced
both
this?
ways, actually, at Columbia and at Salomon, both ways, the opposite. So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, we had the same experience in camper. After 50 years of doing shoes, it's really difficult to do a category extension to apparel.
Yeah.
So in NNormal, we said, okay, since the beginning, let's try to learn to do the full look, because this could be more interesting for the future.
But it also made your life and the team's life much more complicated, no? I mean, it's...
I think we have a really good strategy and a really hard time implementing. Because it's not easy for us. Obviously, we are lucky to have Kylian and Camper, because if not, without these assets, would be impossible.
Yeah.
But then sometimes people tell me, no, but it's super easy because you have Kylian, you have Camper, you just go. So no. It's super tough, because it's a new brand, it's two categories, it's global, no? And we're having challenges everywhere.
Yeah.
So you have to set up the supply chain. So you have to do the quality control. You have to clear customs. It's a new brand, and then even the processes you have to set up. So all the technology, all the website, and then you have to develop the product, and it has nothing to do the rain jacket with the trail running shoe.
No.
And different supply chains. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But it's at the same time is what making very interesting this project.
Yeah, for sure.
If you love it and you have the passion, it's super nice. But and the problem is that you end up working 7 days a week, and your head never stops, and talking not about me, about the team.
Yeah.
And sometimes we are a bit stressed out, and you have to say, okay, let's relax. Because if not, it could be too much.
So it's really interesting, because Camper as a brand is around 300 million, around something like that in sales in euros. Obviously, then the ambition for Normal is bigger than Camper is today. I mean, the fifth biggest outdoor brand is bigger than 300 million. So,
you know the industry very well.
Yeah, for sure. 30 years, It's, but so.
But it's very important here, the timeline, because if you say these figures sounds crazy.
Yeah.
And we are aware that this is more a vision of the company.
Of course,
And then in Camper, it took 50 years to achieve 300 million.
Yeah.
And I know how difficult it is to achieve even 100 million.
Yes.
So you put a target which is very ambitious, it's very far.
Yeah.
But at least you have to look, because this helps us a lot. Because if you don't have this, you end up doing maybe a niche brand that is amazing, but it's set up to be niche.
Yeah.
And if you target to be top 5, maybe you end up being top 10, and it's fine. And nothing happens.
No, sure. But I'm thinking again about at the very start. So what were those discussions inside Camper at the very start? Maybe talk a little bit about that. And then, I mean, I know the story about then the discussions, but I think it's interesting maybe for the audience to understand kind of the initial thoughts in Camper, and then how that translated into to Kylian and where you are today.
Yeah, I would say from Camper point of view, there is this entrepreneurial spirit to launch international brands with and try to compete with the leaders. And this happened in Camper. And Camper has the same. It has competitors which are bigger than 1 billion, and Camper has been between 200 and 300. But you have the ambition to be there, no? And then you achieve it or not. So at the end, each brand has some limits, no? So we had the idea that, yeah, and I also think Camper is a brand that can be much bigger. So for normal, obviously, yeah, you start smaller, and it will take maybe, yeah, these numbers we are talking will take 50 years, and it will not be us. Maybe it will be the next team, the next generation. But our role is to set up the path, no, and then reach whatever.
Yeah.
And if we reach 50 million, 100 million, it's fine. It's not. But then important that you are in a path of having a sustainable brand. And then I would say that the volume is not so important at the end.
Yeah. But was it...
If the company can stay long and be profitable and be sustainable, I would say is irrelevant.
But at the start, was it before the first conversations with Kylian, was the thought already outdoor, or was it, okay, no, we're going to do another brand?
No, it was outdoor.
Okay.
Yeah, because we thought that Camper is covering all this casual business in a nice way, no? And we are very proud of it, and we have good collection and good designs, no? But then we realized that the shoe business is being taken over by sneakers.
Yeah.
And some of these sneakers came from athletics, and nowadays it's happening with trail running. I don't know why, but it's happening now. But as a group strategy, we said, yeah, you have the capabilities to cover. At this moment, we're talking more about shoes because it's our expertise. We said we could have a sneaker brand, and then you have two areas. You have the athletics, or you have the outdoors. And then here's two things. One is personal passions. So the team, we are in Mallorca, we are very outdoor. We like a lot the mountain, the sea. So we said, okay. And also, we saw the clear trend during the pandemic of outdoors. No? So it's a mix of strategy, opportunity, and passion. No? And before knowing Kylian, the idea was to launch an outdoor brand because we said, yeah, we can do trail running shoes and we can do hiking boots, which are we have the capabilities to do it. Then if you think about road, for us it was a bit more complicated. Also, it's a very mature market. There is 4 or 5 brands which are the big winners. Maybe they have 90% of market share.
Yeah.
And then the rest 5. And outdoor look like a bigger business opportunity, and now you see it. You have now 40 brands in trail running, and so I think it was the right decision to. And then there was also this personal thing that also is important in business, that you have to do the business in something that you believe, and you like. No?
Yeah. And
I don't know if it makes sense to you.
Yeah, no, it does. It does.
And then with Kylian, obviously, this amplifies a lot and focuses and changes, no? But before, and I think now, well, you go to the village in UTMB, and all the brands investing in trail, I imagine they had a similar reasoning. So people coming from athletics, people coming from fashion, people coming from outdoor or ski, no? So all the brands are launching now a trail running strategy. It's going to be interesting the next years.
yeah, for sure. Because, like you said, in road, which is clearly today a much bigger market, there's 5 or however many brands that dominate. So today, can trail running sustain so many brands focused on it? I mean,
what do you think?
Well, no, would be my. Maybe it's too easy for me to say that. I'm not into the detail anymore, but it's clear there's massive you only need to spend an hour in Chamonix this week. I mean, there's so much energy around the sport and the activity, but even so, it's still, in comparison to road, a small market. So let's see. I guess there'll be consolidation over the coming years.
I think the same. No? This is, I was telling you before that it's going to be super difficult to succeed in this market because you have a lot of brands investing a lot of money. I think at the beginning this is positive because this will grow the sport and I don't know, the athletes, more athletes could be professional. Then the races will have more resources to set up, so there will be more business also for media, no? So I think in general this is going to be good and we have a few years of growth, no? But at some moment there should be consolidation in the sport and not only brands, also the trail circuits and also the athletes, how many athletes can be professional. You look, I don't know, big sports like tennis, I don't know, maybe how many professionals you have, 100 or 200, no? And now in trail running there is like thousands. So I think it's a good moment, but at some moment it should stabilize a bit and consolidate.
We discussed earlier on before we started recording that you found yourself in a situation where your profession and your passion have at quite a late stage in your career really combined, because when I started doing my research, I didn't realize that you've been a trail runner and an ultra trail runner for quite a long time. So how was the choice to lead the brand or be a key part of the brand, was that really driven by the fact that you knew you'd have that opportunity to combine your personal passion and your business passion?
It's a good question. It's a good question. No, because at the moment we launched the brand, I was more focused. I was 100% focused on camper business, no? And in parallel, we were launching Normal, no? That obviously, then my passion, was making me dedicate more time to this new project, no? But I was working more like together with the founders to set up the board, the strategy. But at one moment, when we launched the brand, we realized that the potential. So even for us was a surprise, even having Kylian. But we launched the brand, and Kylian comes to UTMB, he wins with our shoe. So we said, wow, this is going to go faster than we expected, no? And at that moment, together we decided, because this was not my decision.
Okay.
At the end, it's a board decision, no? So decided, Sito, you should leave the day-to-day of camper and dedicate to Normal. And it was also, on one side, very happy, because you say, you have the opportunity to combine passion with business and also a new role as CEO, because it's not work. But also it was a risk, because moving from a big company, bigger team, to something smaller, that when you launch, you don't know where it will be. But it was, I think, a good decision. And then if it works, it's amazing. And if not, we're enjoying a lot and we're learning a lot. So
absolutely. We don't have too much time left, which is really annoying, because I have so many questions and it's such a great conversation. But looking back over your career, what's the best piece of advice you think you've ever received?
I think has been the combination of 1,000 things. So at least in my case, has not been, I had this advice and this solved my career. No?
Okay.
So maybe I'm not so talented, or it's not that easy. I don't know, but
that's fine, because then I'll turn it another way then.
For me, it's been 25 or 30 years of learning. Well, this is Kylian gave me a good similar solution, because I was asking him the same. Why are you so good? Is the talent? I said, no. I've been since 15 years old, training every day. And every week he was doing 200 kilometers for 30 years. And he said, after 20 years, your body adapts. And then you have advantages, no? because all the is more technical his explanation and not
Sure.
scientific. But he said at the end the body is a system, no?
Yeah.
That is about consistency. And he said, I achieved this because at 15 years I was already running in the mountains, no? And during 25 years, I've been that thing in my body and my mind to be able to do this crazy adventure that he does.
Yeah.
No? And I think in my case, it's something similar. But the same, the equivalent, but in the business.
Yes.
And you have to learn a lot of skills. And at some moment, you have to combine a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you need from finance, from team management, to business vision, to commercial skills, to I don't know supply chain, which is more engineering, my background, no. And I think you need a bit of everything to be able to run a business. Huh?
Yes.
So for me, it's not one thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So if and I have to summarize in one thing is this consistency
Yeah.
and this long-term learning.
Yes.
And for this, you need a topic that you are passionate about,
Yeah.
and you have to keep learning.
Great. Okay, perfect. So if I think you turned 50 recently, no? Yeah.
I'm 51.
51, okay.
I don't like to say it, but it's the reality.
I turned 50 this year as well, so it's okay.
But my wife tells me I have a mentality of 30.
Oh, really? Okay.
And she says it in a bad way,
I
but
was
for me
gonna
super
say,
positive.
yeah.
For me super positive because I said, thank you. She said, no, but you are like
That's what I was going to ask. Is that in a good or a bad way?
in a bad way, but for me super positive.
Okay. But so let's say that 3 years NNormal, 20 years at Camper, you've got your 5% brand presence on the races. I'm going to retire now.
Good.
What's your message, your last message to the team?
No, for me, is that they learn this mission and values of the brand. They understand, and it's not the name; it's what's behind the name. No, so I think it's important they learn why we as a team we build this company and what's the vision that we're saying. No, and then the values because they can guide them a lot when you are making the decisions. Huh? So I think my recommendation to the team would be, first I hope we are aligned after these years working together, no? And hopefully some of the team members that are now in the team could take over my position. This would be my dream.
Yeah.
Because if not, when I retire, we had to hire somebody from outside. For me, is that I didn't do my job well because I was not able to transfer or to develop somebody of the really talented team that we have. So my advice would be this: is okay, that you have learned, try to keep it, no?
Yeah.
And try to transfer also the same that you're asking me to say, okay, don't keep it for yourself. Is give it back to the team because this at the end the company will go on even when we are not there. And if we can have been part 5 years or 10 of this company, and you put some positives, and there will be a moment that we need a new team to manage the. So
Great.
at some moment we have to give something back. So
for sure.
So we have been grateful to have these opportunities.
Yeah.
And there is a moment that a lot of people gave to us, and at some moment, if our turn to what you were asking about the mentors. So and then my idea would be if this happens, if I can continue involved, but more as a advisor, mentor.
Yeah.
So my idea of retiring would be to keep keep involved.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. Please ensure you click the follow button on your podcast app so you never miss a new episode. And if you're interested in what else we're doing, please make sure to follow us on LinkedIn. I'm Dan Trapp, and you've been listening to Sports and Outdoor Mentors.